Hello and welcome to a spooktacular Combat Saturday for Halloween. I'm your host, DM Gallibond. All right, everybody. Hey, happy Halloween 2020. And today we are going to be talking about the very scary Pike here on Combat Saturday. So I hear you say, what is a Pike and what is it doing in my D&D game? I'm so glad you asked. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Pike. Well, basically, Pikes are part of the polearm family. You take the head of a weapon, you stick it on a long pole, you have a pole arm. And in the case of a pike, what you're sticking on the end of a long pole is you're sticking a spearhead on the long end of a long pole. So these were very famous in different parts of Europe during the Middle Ages. If you ever want to go and take a look at some of the historical information, the Swiss had a formation that they called a pike square, where it was about ranks of, I think, maybe 3 or 4 soldiers deep, and all of them had these pikes, and they would be in a square formation, and they would just all lower their spikes, and it would be like this hedgehog formation where the spikes were, or the pikes were just sticking out, and whether it was cavalry coming at them or whether it was foot soldiers coming at them, uh, nobody could get close enough with hand-to-hand weapons to deal anything to them. Of course, you could stand back a long way and shoot arrows, but the pikes, the Swiss pikes, were a terror to many of the armies of the Middle Ages in Europe. Now, pikes became a weapon in D&D back in the original version of the game. So they've been with us all the time. They dealt 1d10 damage, weighed 8 pounds, and cost 3 gold in the earliest edition of the game. Now, the pike, the description of it, it's a thrusting weapon, essentially an extra long spear that has a short, sharp spearhead on the end of a very long pole, anywhere between 12 and 18 feet long. Okay, so that is what the pikes are. Now, in first edition, AD&D, the pike, there was an awl, AWL, an awl pike. Again, it's an 8-pound weapon, and against smaller medium creatures, it deals 1d6 damage. Against large creatures, it deals 1d12. And then getting a little bit more information about it in first edition, it's an 18-foot long weapon. Requires 1 foot of room to use it, because you can hold it straight upright and then lower it. Speed factor 13, meaning it's very slow. And then, of course, they have all of their armor class adjustments in AD&D, which, that's why you needed to get your slide rule out to play AD&D. Okay, second edition. They grouped everything by their weapon type. So pole arms, an all pike cost 5 gold, weighed 12 pounds, considered a large weapon, speed factor 13, 1d6, 1d12, and deals piercing damage. Now, this weapon inflicts double damage when firmly set to receive a charge. That's what that little 5 means there. So when you use it to receive a charge, you can deal more damage. So Pike is essentially a long spear, 12 to 20 feet long, ending in a spike point or tapered spearhead. Popular weapon during the Renaissance. A spike stuck out in front of men, or front. Men could be packed side by side in dense formations, and several rows could fight. Large blocks of pikemen made formidable troops. However, once pikemen engaged in close combat, normally dropped the clumsy all pikes and fought hand to hand with short swords. So, second edition was the one where they in the player's handbook in the DMG, where they gave you kind of, okay, here's all the stats on the weapons, but let's give you a little bit of historical context. Why is this weapon even part of D&D? So that's kind of a cool thing that they did. Now, in 3.5 and 4.0, they went away from the name Pike, probably because they thought people were dumb and they couldn't figure out what a pike meant. So they just called it a long spear instead of calling it a pike. So long spear has reach. You can strike opponents 10 feet away with it, but you can't use it against an adjacent foe. If you use a ready action to set a long spear against a charge, you deal double damage on a successful hit against a charging character. So, hey, guess what? That goes right back to what we talked about with setting for a charge in the previous edition. And then in terms of its stats, the long spear costs 5 gold, 1d6, small or medium, 1d8, large, times 3 on a critical hit, weighs 9 pounds, deals piercing damage, and then it is a reach weapon. That's what the number 4 means there. Okay, so then last but not least, we will look at 4th edition. Well, no, not last. 4th edition, we have the long spear, +2 proficiency bonus. Damage is 1d10. Price is 10 gold, weighs 9 pounds, has reach, and it's a polearm spear. And then pole arms are weapons mounted at the end of long halves. All pole arms fall into another category of weapon, usually axe, heavy blade, or spear. Pole arms are reach weapons and spear. Stabbing head at the end of a long shaft. Spear is great for lunging attacks. And then in 5e, a pike costs 5 gold and it weighs 18 pounds. So my God, that thing has gotten obese in 5th edition. It's very, very heavy. Proficiency with pike allows you to add your proficiency. Yes, okay. So cost is 5 gold, deals 1d10 piercing damage. And it's a heavy weapon, reach, and requires 2 hands. All right. So that is the history of the pike in D&D. And today I want to wish, once again, everybody a very happy Halloween. If you have little ones that are going trick-or-treating, hope you'll be careful. I have no idea in this day and age with all the COVID stuff. I'm probably just buying, I think by the time you see this, I'll probably just have bought about half the candy I normally buy. And because I'm not expecting that many people to be trick-or-treating this year. And the bad thing is that we're all working from home. So normally on November 1st, I take all that candy to the office and give it to all my coworkers if I have anything left over. But now it's going to be stuck here in the house with me. So that's bad. All right. Anyway, um if you like everything that we're doing here on the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, click that post notification bell so that you can be notified every time new content drops. And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Really appreciate that, and hope that you tell your friends that you found this D&D channel and have them come and subscribe and watch the videos as well. If you have used a pike as a D&D character, if you like polearm weapons, let me know. Now had a 5th edition game a while back where there was a player who he had a dwarf that used a halberd. So it's an axe at the end of a long pole, and that was just his jam. It was very interesting character, and yeah, there's some cool things that you can do with a halberd in the game, and if you take the right feats for it, so that he would always do some pretty cool stuff with it. All right, that's it for today. We hope that you have enjoyed the video. We hope that we will see you back here next time on Combat Saturday. And just want to wish everybody, once again, happy Halloween and good night.